Welcome to CNR News, the College of New Rochelle's only student-run broadcast news organization. Our mission is to report important national and international issues while focusing on stories that serve the students of the college. I'm your host, Luisa Garcia.
And I'm Darianna Parra. This is today's news for Monday, November 1st, 2010. On September 22nd, Rutgers University freshman Tyler Clementi committed suicide by jumping off the George Washington Bridge. His suicide has been linked to cyberbullying by two classmates, Darun Ravi and Molly Way. Ravi and Way have been charged with 2 counts each of invasion of privacy after allegedly placing a camera in Clementi's room to record a sexual encounter. According to police, Ravi brought the footage to Way, who transmitted the secretly recorded footage over the internet. Under New Jersey law, it is illegal to collect, view, or transmit images of someone engaged in sexual conduct without their consent. According to prosecutors, both students could receive up to 5 years in prison if they are convicted. We will have more about the story later in the newscast.
On October 13th, more than 1 billion worldwide watched the rescue of 33 men from a collapsed mine in Chile. The men survived for a record-breaking 69 days in a caved-in mine. Surprisingly, the ventilation shafts were undisturbed by the collapse, allowing miners to get enough fresh air to survive. When the accident first occurred, 17 days passed before the men could get a message out that they were still alive. Eventually, a camera was sent underground to track the progress of the men as rescue plans were being made. The miners were provided with simple food and nutrients through a tiny hole from the surface. After about 2 months of preparation and construction, a game plan was ready to rescue the 33 men trapped underground. The journey to the surface for each man took an average of 10 to 15 minutes. Upon reaching the surface, each miner had brief meetings with their families and loved ones. They were given medical treatment immediately. All of the miners survived. On October 7th, the Metropolitan Transit Authority approved a fare increase for New York City subways and buses. This was the 3rd fare hike in the last 3 years. Single ride tickets will increase from $2.25 to $2.50. The 7-day pass from $27 to $29, and the unlimited monthly pass from $89 to $104. After also reducing service over the summer, the MTA has generated a great deal of criticism from riders, including CNR's commuters. For more on this story, here is correspondent Darianna Parra.
Well, I think if they increase the fare in general, I wouldn't mind it so much. But the fact that they're also increasing the Metro cards, it's kind of a big deal. I mean, they could still make some money charging extra money for the regular fare, and that should be able to help them and alleviate the stress for us, because for people that really ride the subway frequently, the Metro cards are a big deal. So for them to increase that, they're gonna either lose a lot of people, or people are gonna just not buy the Metro cards and pay the regular fare, and either way, they're gonna lose money, I think. Honestly, I'm looking into buying a car because right now I'm spending a lot of money, and the fact that it's gonna go up even more and it's already expensive, it's crazy. Like, I can't afford to pay $29. I mean, it's only a $2 difference, but when you're buying it every week, it adds up, and when you add it up, you know, for the year, and when you have to take the subway, there's no going around it. So I think I'm better off paying gas for a car.
In the train for the past 3 years, and the train rates went up from $86, around $83, $86 to now $104, which is outrageous to me because in addition to tuition and books and other expenses I have, now I have to worry about paying more for my transportation. So it looks like I'm probably going to have to invest in a car soon because the train is getting outrageous.
Well, I mean, I don't really have any other options. I still have to come to school, so I have to pay it. But, I mean, there's been how many fare hikes, and they used to hand out little pamphlets in the train station down in the city. I live in Harlem, and I'm going to the website and everything, but I feel like whatever the public does, it really does not even seem to make a difference. They still increase it anyway.
I think it's unfair that the MTA is raising the prices because they promise all these improvements and you see no improvement. And as it is, the economy is unstable and millions of people rely on public transportation. And it's just not fair. If you promise improvements because you're going to raise the price, then we should see the improvements.
Increasing the prices is unfair because nobody has a say in it. I just think they're just increasing the prices just to make more money, and they don't care about what the people have to say and how it's affecting the students and maybe even some of the teachers that have to take public transportation to get to school.
According to MTA Chief Executive Jay Walder, the fare hikes will go towards eliminating the MTA's $400 million budget shortfall, enabling it to balance its $12 billion budget by 2011. He noted improvements such as the countdown clocks installed at some stations and discussed continuing work on the 2nd Avenue subway.
And now here's the news at CNR. Students, faculty, and staff from CNR recently dug and planted a sustainability garden located between the Center for Academic Excellence and Gill Library. The garden boasts tomatoes, basil, zucchini, arugula, beets, and beans, and its gardeners hope to expand this to include a variety of other vegetables. Our correspondent spoke with one of the garden coordinators, Dr. Faith Costel-Hughes.
Hi, I'm Dr. Faith Costel-Hughes. I'm the Director of Environmental Studies here at the College of New Rochelle. And we created this garden this spring. We call it Sustainability Garden. We want to use it as a demonstration garden and a teaching tool so that students can learn about all aspects of things related to food and raising food. And as a biology professor, I've found that a lot of students aren't that familiar with plant biology or plant growth and development. And so I wanted to see this as an opportunity to show them on campus. But a lot of students are also interested in food, but don't necessarily know a lot about where their food comes from. And fewer Americans actually have much experience at gardening. So this was an opportunity to give them the chance to learn about this firsthand and hopefully inspire and spur some interest in doing this beyond here. So we're willing to give whatever resources we can to help students learn and also learn about healthier eating habits, since most people enjoy eating something that's really fresh.
I think having a garden in the campus is good, at least, for demonstration purposes and teaching purposes for the students. And also the crops or the plants are also, important, it's beneficial to us right now. You can get it and use it to cook at home.
Dr. Costel-Hughes and Dr. Zimmer hope that the garden will be used as a learning tool for CNR students as well as local school children.
CNR Drama is an organization that stages theatrical productions using students from the college as both actors and behind-the-scenes crew. Recent productions have included Little Shop of Horrors, Into the Woods, and Dreamgirls. In November, CNR Drama will be mounting a production of 5th of July by Lanford Wilson. Correspondent Darianna Parra spoke with CNR Drama Director Lori Castaldo to learn more about the upcoming production.
The play is called The 5th of July. It was written by Lanford Wilson back in the early 80s, and it takes place in 1977 in a big farmhouse in the middle of the country, Lebanon, Missouri. And it's really a group of 60s radicals getting together for a reunion of sorts over the 4th of July weekend. And they sort of start bumping heads over memories and things that have gone on in their lives since they last spent a great deal of time together. I think that it really harkens back for people who may not really have a personal connection to the 70s. And what happened to us, what happened to young people from the time that the war ended in the early 70s until, and just sort of started, the whole country started a different arc, political arc, going into, say, 1980 when the Reagan Revolution came about. You know, I think that it's really important for people to see something like that, this kind of play, to really get a personal feeling for what that generation
It kind of reflects what's going on now too. So
absolutely, absolutely. Right. You know, I mean, you can't ever go wrong learning about history. I'm an educator myself. I'm an administrator on campus, and I do some adjunct teaching. And I understand that the best way to learn is to collaborate on something with somebody else. And theater is the best way to do that, because theater is a collaborative art.
The production will run from November 12th to the 20th.
the recent spate of suicides by gay, lesbian, and questioning teens raises issues about privacy, tolerance, bullying, and the role of new media in today's world. In September, Asher Brown and Seth Walsh both committed suicide after being targets of anti-gay bullying. Both were 13 years of age and had not yet entered high school. Similarly, the recent suicides of Justin Asberg, Billy Lucas, and Tyler Clementi have been linked to anti-gay bullying. For more on this story, here's CNR News correspondent Luisa Garcia, who is covering this story.
Tyler Clementi's death has generated a great deal of attention on CNR's main campus. Students are asking, could this happen here? Is bullying based on a teen's sexuality an increasing problem on campus or in student life in general? What can be done to help prevent future tragedies? When talking to CNR students, we see that recent events shed light on the difficulties of growing up gay.
In terms of cyberbullying, there are really no ways to prevent it because kids are kids. Kids are gonna say mean things because we're different, because we don't understand yet. But there are always ways to deal with it. And the way you deal with it can help the way to prevent it. The way I dealt with it was, after I did first initially come out, I decided to go to my family, to a support group which I knew I had already there, and they were extremely accepting of it. Nothing changed. So after that, you find ways to deal with when someone writes on your MySpace, on your Facebook, says, "Oh, look at that picture, you posing like a faggot." Once you have that core group of people that you care about, everything else just kind of bounces right off of you. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really piss me off anymore, so much as it kind of saddens me to see that damn people are still ignorant about it. Like, you really wouldn't catch people saying, "Oh, well, black people should, really still be sitting in the back of the bus." You really wouldn't hear that because the culture has changed. So unless we change ourselves, that's the only way to prevent it. As far as my advice to anyone who is going to come out or who's contemplating coming out, do it, because I guarantee you it gets better. I really wish you could have spoke to anyone, spoke to someone before committing suicide, because really, from my opinion, when you want to commit suicide, I think that the reason why I wanted to do it was because I was bottling everything up and I never told anyone about it. So all your emotions and all your feelings just fill up in this void and then it explodes. So I think if he had just one opportunity to talk to someone about this, even if it was like a day after it happened, a week after, a month after it happened, that would not have gone down the way it did.